And welcome back to part 4 of the Remembering Kobe series. This is a series that we've done in conjunction with this week. Instead of doing the episode or the weekly podcast, we decided to do a entire series just remembering the life and the legacy that Kobe Bryant left behind. My name is Max Danielsen, and joining me today for part 4 is someone that we haven't had on the show, but he is a member of the Austin College basketball team. That is Mr. Rex King. So, Rex, welcome onto the show, my man.
Appreciate you having me.
Rex, just before we kind of get into the questions about Kobe, I know that you're a humongous Kobe fan. You actually brought a card of Kobe.
I did. I have a glass enclosed card of Kobe Bryant, and it includes a patch of a jersey that he wore in game. And I've had this for a few years now, so I just, it's gotten a lot more valuable to me.
Yeah, no, especially. I know I met you at, I believe it was on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, Monday or Tuesday, when I was checking out something at Burlington, and you were trying to find some Kobe gear.
I was. It's unfortunate, man. There's
really
an unfortunate situation with my jersey, my Kobe jersey that I've also had for
I've heard this story,
now.
but go ahead and tell it for the viewers.
Sure. So basically, what happened was I went to prom with a girl last year, and the party that we went to after, the theme was jerseys, and so I let her wear my Kobe jersey. Unfortunately, very soon after that, we had a pretty bad breakup, and she still had the jersey. So over the summer, this last summer, right before I came to school here, I was trying to get it back from her. She kept making up excuses, and I had some of my friends try to get back to her. She still wouldn't give it up. And so now this week, after obviously we've all heard the tragic news about Kobe, I reached out again. Maybe she'd be kind of sympathetic towards me, since she knows, obviously how big of a Kobe fan I was. And she has now said that she has given the jersey away and that she does not remember who she gave it to.
Wow.
Which is totally a lie, because, for one, she said it was a long time ago, when it's impossible that it was a long time ago, since it was just this summer.
Right.
But
Well, did you find any Laker gear, though? That's the question.
I did not.
That stinks.
I'm just happy that I have this.
Yeah, and even so, you said tonight you were wearing the Kobe's.
I was. I had to restore my Kobe 9s a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My Kobe 9s, my favorite laser crimson, my favorite shoes I've ever owned, most comfortable, best traction. Just they look great, and I had to bring them back out tonight for
Absolutely.
sure.
I know not only the men's team did that tonight, but I know a lot of girls on the women's team also did that, which I think is an awesome tribute. Believe it or not, we just got done watching the tribute for Kobe Bryant. I really liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I think Usher really stretched out the Amazing Grace part, but that's really about it. I like the video they played for him, LeBron's speech. Perfect Kobe, what Kobe would want. That's exactly what I think LeBron did. So we'll kind of get into getting into the questions here. And just knowing your history with Kobe Bryant and knowing what he meant to you, we'll start with that simple question of what did Kobe mean to you growing up? Because like I've said to every single person that's came on for this series, that Kobe was a big part of our childhood.
For sure.
Whether it was playing basketball or wearing the number 24 even, if you were, for your case, going from a fadeaway and just yelling Kobe, just throwing up whatever it may be. Just the legacy that he left behind. So I'll let you take it away, kind of what he meant for you.
Man, it's just Kobe was my guy. My two favorite players of all time that I try to model my game after, Larry Bird and Kobe Bryant. So obviously I was really devastated by that news. But I've been watching Kobe for so long, and he's definitely a humongous reason that I am where I'm at today, and the type of player that I am today, and just the type of person I am today. The mindset he had, his work ethic is just so inspiring, and just the way he was is just incredible. Loved his family, loved the game. Super super respectful to other players.
Yeah.
Amazing competitor. That's what I admire most, his competitiveness, his will to win and hatred of losing, and
Yeah.
he was just truly a student of the game.
I mean, yeah,
Truly.
and even so, like you said, a big-time family man. And I talked about it earlier on, I believe it was part 2 of the series, where the reason why he began using the helicopters is because he realized with all the LA traffic that he was missing a lot of time with his family.
Yes.
And he wanted to make sure to be there for his kids like Gianna and all the 3 other daughters, and even so his wife Vanessa. So I know that Kobe was a humongous family man, and even so they mentioned that many, many times on the tribute. With you being a big Kobe fan, I think you're going to give a lot of answers for this one. What is one of, or if you have a few, what are your favorite Kobe memories? And the popular answer, all 3 parts, has been the 60-part game or the 60-point game.
I was gonna have to say that has to be it. They just re-aired his 60-point game, obviously, after the tragic event, and just seeing the way that he went off, and just seeing the way his family was so happy for him. That was just, you love to see it, but at the same time, it makes it so much more heartbreaking.
Right.
Because he loved them, and they loved him, and it's like his family was just such a huge part of his life. Like he's always supported his family, obviously, and he's always had them as a part of his life, and he's never hid them from the media. He's always had them involved.
And even so, like Gianna, we were talking about a couple days ago when we were talking about how we were in disbelief that Kobe passed away. That Gianna had a lot of potential, especially for a basketball player. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, that meme that was once a meme is now enshrined as the perfect father-daughter moment when he was courtside with the versus the Nets.
Coaching Gianna.
Yeah.
That's just, man, just the the competitor he was, never missed a moment to become better. That striving for greatness is something that, very few people have, but I feel like he really inspired so many hundreds of thousands, millions of people with that.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I mean, not only with sports, but he won an Oscar with his Dear Basketball video. I mean, he was just a best-selling author. I mean, he did a lot of things. Not only that, I know he was fluent in, I want to say 4 or 5 languages. I mean, just what Kobe did was remarkable, what he was as not only the player that we knew, but as well the person. And that's why I think so many people respected him, not only for his game, but the person who he was also off the court. But going on to the next question here, when Kobe retired, the game of basketball we knew was going to be different without him. It was going to be interesting not to see Kobe around anymore. But now with him being gone, how does the game of basketball change? What is the atmosphere and the surface of the game now different without him forever, basically?
Kobe obviously had a lot of influence with multiple players through the league, and that's obviously been shown in the way they play, and obviously how moved they were by just himself, and how affected they were by his passing. So, I think that in a lot of ways it'll be the same because of the people that he was able to inspire, but in a lot of ways it will be different because the things that they were doing before, of course they had meaning, they were doing it because they wanted to be the greatest, and now I feel like a lot of people are going to have even more drive to go out there and get extra shots up, work harder, just to honor him, and just it really puts things in perspective about how thankful we should be, and how lucky we were to be able to just have Kobe Bryant and witness greatness.
And that's what LeBron said during his speech, the last part. He's like, eventually we're going to have a memorial, but for tonight it's a celebration of the blood, sweat, and tears that Kobe left behind in his legacy. And even so, kind of with you saying that putting up shots, I remember you told me Sunday night you went put up some shots.
You had to do that. Had to get in the gym.
And then I think the final question that I have is just how does the NBA then carry on Kobe's legacy? Of course, we talked about it, how this year in the All-Star game they're wearing not only the 9-star patch to memorialize the 9 people who passed away, but as well, the players are wearing 24 and 2 jerseys in honor of Kobe and Gianna.
Yeah, I think obviously, it was really fast after the event. Mark Cuban came out and said no Mavs player will ever wear the number 24.
Which I think was the right move to do.
I do think it was the right move to do, even though Kobe Bryant never played on the Mavs. Obviously,
he almost got traded to the Mavs, if you remember that whole story.
I do. But obviously, just the influence he had over the entire league, that just shows the impact of him and how much, even though he didn't play for he didn't play for the Mavs, it just shows the impact and how much influence and how much he meant to the game of basketball and how much he changed the game of basketball.
And especially the relationship that him and Cuban had. That was a very big relationship. And I know not only did Cuban respect his game, but Dirk has said numerous times that they always wanted to play together, but they respected each other so much that they were loyal to each other's teams. They didn't want to leave. Well, Kobe at one point wanted to leave, but that's besides the point for that. But do you think there's a way that the NBA can put that legacy on Kobe, whether that be retiring all 24, changing the logo, or what my personal opinion, what they should do is rename the Larry O'Brien Trophy in honor of Kobe?
I think, I actually haven't thought about renaming the trophy. That's something interesting, and I think that would definitely be obviously a huge honor, huge way to honor him. But personally, I personally don't think that the thing I'm most in favor of is changing the logo. Yeah. And I don't think that we should change the logo because of his passing. I think we should change the logo because I feel like his influence on the game and his impact on the game is much greater than any other player. I'm not trying to disrespect any of the other greats. There's
or even so, Jerry West came out this week and was he's A-okay with change. And frankly, he doesn't like being the logo. Just because of the spotlight that's on him. Well, it's kind of the same thing with Kobe. Both of those guys, they don't like being the spotlight. They just do their job, and that's the most Kobe thing that there is he never really liked the media attention. He just was doing his job. And the best thing that I heard from Kobe was in when they were doing the memorial, and the Mamba mentality, and I never really realized this, but every single day he came in saying that he's the 12th man on the bench. What is your job, and to play for that role, even though he was the number one guy for the Lakers, undoubtedly, but he still had the mindset to compete like a 12th man on the bench and to prove people wrong.
Yeah, it's just, I believe when I started watching Kobe, I don't know how old I was, but I remember one day I came in and I asked my dad, I was like, Dad.
Now, was it the 8 or 24 day? Was it when he was 8 or 24? Because that is.
I believe he was 24 at this time.
Okay, gotcha.
I believe he was 24 at this time. But I went in and asked my dad, and I asked him. I said, Dad, who's the greatest basketball player in the world? And he said, right now, I believe it to be Kobe Bryant. And from then on, that's when. That was really when I just became a huge Kobe fan.
Yeah.
And honestly, I forgot what you had just asked because I was thinking about that moment.
Yeah.
But. That's when it all started for me with Kobe Bryant, and it wasn't really, I loved watching him play, but it wasn't until a few years later that I was really able to appreciate how much he gives to the game and how much he.
Or even so, when they reran the the final game, I totally forgot how remarkable that last game was.
Oh yeah.
And the pure dominance that Kobe had on the floor that night.
Because
40 of his points came in the second half.
Yes. He just. Now, I remember that night in 2016. I remember it so clear because it was the same night that the Warriors were going for their
73-9
season, and it was either the Warriors getting 73 wins or Kobe's final game. And for me, it wasn't even a question. I'm watching Kobe's final game.
Honestly, I think it was never a question for anyone, well, besides Warriors fans. But,
exactly.
Or whoever they were playing who just wanted to make sure they didn't get that. But, it just goes to show you kind of what the impact that Kobe had on the game was. He was never a guy who, wanted all the media attention, like I've said before. He was the guy who just wanted to play the game of basketball. And,
Exactly.
like he said, from the age of 3, he was a humongous Lakers fan, and just developed this love for the game of basketball, not even, not excluding the fact that he put that also on his daughters. He showed that love of the game. One story that I keep that I get reminded of is after his retirement, he didn't really watch NBA basketball until Gianna got him back into it, and she said, Trae Young is my favorite player, and he really started to follow the NBA again. And even so, with Luka Doncic, when he learned 7 seconds of Slovenian just to talk trash to him. But that's just the impact that Kobe had. And I know, it's going to be hard for a lot of NBA players. I know a lot of them have changed their numbers in remembrance to them. Not only that, but the 8-second violation as well as a 24-second violation that the teams have started to do. That's a very big thing. Tonight, Lakers go out in the 8-24. I know a lot of other teams did that. I know Larry Nance Jr. a couple nights ago wore 24 in honor of Kobe. There's just a lot of things that, and that's the crazy. And actually, I'll bring this last one up before we wrap it up here. But I don't know if you remember that Devin Booker and Trae Young thing, the stat line that night before or the night afterwards.
Yes.
They both put up
the stat line, but I remember some.
They both put up 24 shots, and in those 24 shots, one scored 45 points, one scored 36. I believe it was Trae Young that put up 45 and Devin Booker that put up 36. A week or so ago beforehand was Kobe's 81-point game, the anniversary of that, and Trae Young and Devin Booker both combined for 81. And that's, I think, just the craziness all around for sports. You not only see that with Kobe, you saw it in the past with that Jose Fernandez when D. Gordon hit that home run, very first the very first at bat of the game, or when Tyler Skaggs passed away this summer, the complete no-hitter, and just a lot of things. Mike Trout hitting that 454-foot home run. He was number 45. The last combined no-hitter in California history was when Tyler Skaggs was born. Not only that, but the last Los Angeles Angels to pass away, being Nick Edenhart, he was the next one drafted after him. Just the craziness, and that's the one thing I love about sports. I think that a lot of people could appreciate that is that it's just encapsulates life in the most odd ways. Combining 81 points a week after the anniversary of Kobe's 81-point game and just his best game ever, the dominance that Kobe Bryant shared. Not only that, Trae Young, I know, came out in that 8 jersey, Devin Booker in tears before the game.
Yeah.
That just shows how much Kobe meant to the NBA.
I really feel like Kobe was definitely there with them that night. I really feel like he was watching.
I feel like he was with the entire NBA throughout this week, even with this Lakers game that's on.
People have been going off, but I really feel like with what happened tonight here, I really feel like it was a similar situation. I really do. I know we're just Austin College. I know that we're not some huge thing, but I really feel like Kobe was with us tonight because.
Y'all came back from what, 41?
We did. We were down, I believe, 18 at half.
18,
and we came back, and then the game winner at the end. But the significant thing to me for that is, at the beginning of the year when I first arrived and we had our first meeting with the team, we were saying, where we came from, who our favorite player was, and like our strengths and weaknesses and stuff. And my man Cam Hogan, shout out Cam Hogan if he listens to this, that's my bro. But we both said, we were the only 2 people on the team to both say that our favorite players were Kobe Bryant.
Dang.
And for this to be his first basketball game since Kobe's passing, and he comes out, plays amazing defense, the true Mamba mentality tonight, and hits that game winner tonight, it's just. And
I could tell you what, for my viewers, for those of you who don't know, I call the play-by-play for both the men's teams and women's teams. Called a handful of games when Rex came in, gave him the King announcement whenever he came in. But Cam Hogan, that dude knows how to play defense. He's a big spark plug for the bench there. And I have no clue. I would imagine the women's team is dominating right now. I would imagine they are.
I would imagine they are. They are.
And of course, both
teams too.
Heck yeah. Both dominating for Kobe. What a better way to end it, really. It just means a lot. It's still hard I know for you, but especially, well, actually for both of us, it's still hard to believe because knowing Kobe you know he was always coming back. When his Achilles ruptured, going on to the free throw line and knocking down those two, walking off the court on his own weight, you knew he was going to come back. And that's the one thing that Kobe always did. So I had, this deep feeling that there's no way this is true. Kobe somehow survived it. That's just how Kobe was. And you thought he was invincible. And that's the one thing that absolutely sucks about life. And the hardest lesson of this whole thing is that death doesn't care who you are. It's the hardest thing in life. You could be, being Kobe Bryant, one of the, not only the greatest athletes, but one of the greatest humans, and just taken away too soon. Not only was he taken away too soon, his daughter Gianna, and the seven other people in that crash.
Man, super unfortunate, but it just really, I don't want to say it's a wake-up call, but it just really puts things in perspective. Even for Kobe Bryant, someone who truly just seemed invincible on the court. It's just life isn't guaranteed for anyone, and it's just you got to enjoy every moment, even the bad times. Just enjoy all of it.
And I think that's a perfect way to wrap up this part of the Kobe Bryant series. Again, Rex, thank you for coming on. Hopefully we can get you on the show another time when we have a full podcast.
I'd love to.
So that is going to wrap it up for part 4. Make sure to check out part 5 when it comes out. If you're a little late on it, it's going to be the next video in the series. But if you are on time with this and watching it as they come out, it'll probably be out by this point. So once again, thank you for listening, and make sure to go and check out part 5.